starts now.
Good evening, I'm John Mercer.
And I'm Amy Catcher. Thanks for joining us tonight. Well, because of all the hard rain last night, authorities here in the Tennessee Valley expected the worst today. But what a difference a few hours makes. WDEF News Hall's Bill Mitchell joins us live with a weather roundup and our top local story. Bill?
Well, Amy, you probably remember a famous novelist once wrote, "It was a dark and stormy night." That's what we really had. In fact, it was one of the heaviest all-night rains around here in years, 6 inches in my gauge. And it appeared for a while that today would be more of the same. Not so, but the storm did leave some damage behind. In the hours just before dawn, it looked like anything but a good day for commuters, students, and those who work outside. Some streets in Chattanooga and North Georgia had up to 3 feet of water after hours of unrelenting rain. The traditional low areas, 23rd Street, Spring Creek Road, New England and Dade County, and parts of Fort Oglethorpe, just to name a few, experienced the usual delays and stalled cars. But when the rain stopped, the water drained off quickly. However, damage to Chattanooga Central High School's roof did not go away that quickly. Classes were dismissed at 10:30.
Everyone will be dismissed at this time to go to the buses.
I got here extremely early and realized that we had lots of water standing and lots of drips. So as I assessed the building, I realized that there were just very few classrooms that we could go in and get the children in there to actually have school.
There were too many roof leaks to count, especially in the library.
You know, it's not only the leaking of the roof, but you know, the carpet doesn't get dried out. We've got mold issues. Some of the areas already are collecting mold. It's not only, you know, an inconvenience, it's a health hazard.
Ms. Martin and volunteers rushed to cover computers with plastic when they saw what was happening. Principal King says the school has had a problem with leaks and hail damage during the tornadoes last year, just not as bad as this time.
It's a great school, great kids. We just don't want them to have to sit and take algebra and English and dodge the drips.
Well, some school districts delayed the start of class for a couple of hours this morning, but Central was the only major school to cancel because of water damage. In the studio, Bill Mitchell, WDEF News 12.
Thanks, Bill. The storms also took out the best-known tree on Hamilton County Courthouse lawn. The huge Osage orange tree on the south lawn, it toppled over. The tree is at least 112 years old. It stood near the statue of Confederate General A.P. Stewart, and many couples have been married under that tree. The tree did no damage to the courthouse, and county officials are laying plans to remove it.
Well, questions still surround the recent arson and vandalism at Loftus Middle School. We take you inside as the school prepares to reopen. WDEF News' Brittany Shaw has the latest from our continuing coverage.
Even after days of rain and restoration efforts, the smell of smoke still lingers at Loftus Middle School. It's a reminder of the arson and vandalism that have left both school and law enforcement officials with questions. We took a look at the damage with middle school director Steve Holmes.
Anytime that you walk in and view something like this, it takes your breath away, and you wonder what you'll find the further that you go through.
Janice Atkinson, Public Information Officer with the Hamilton County Sheriff, says it's a case of arson.
When the firefighters initially entered the building, that's when they noticed the vandalism, and they also heard noises that would suggest that someone was in the school.
Atkinson says a forensic team spent Monday collecting evidence on the scene. Firefighters broke through this window to discover a fire that had been started in a garbage can in the teacher's lounge, where it burned furniture and melted part of this television. Fortunately, it didn't spread further than the 6th grade hall. Other areas of the school sustained water damage, but even that hasn't dampened the spirits at Loftus Middle.
After seeing the damage and seeing what the cleanup crews are being able to do, and then talking to the faculty and staff and seeing their resilience and how much they want to get the students back into class, I feel very good about Loftus Middle School.
The middle school building has been turned over to the Hamilton County Department of Education, but the Sheriff's Department continues to search for answers to the community's questions. In Hickson, Brittany Shaw, WDEF News 12.
And News 12 has confirmed that Loftus Middle School will be open tomorrow morning. Also, Notre Dame will be closed tomorrow, though, due to a water main break on Missionary Ridge.
A Bradley County man could be the first to feel the effects of a new law. That's after deputies say he stole more than $250,000 worth of items. WDEF News Hall's Alicia Searle investigates in our News 12 update.
Some call this a copper thief's playground. 7 chicken houses, a nice 3-story home, and a $30,000 generator, all bank-owned and left unattended. Well, deputies say that was until this man came across it. 32-year-old Murdy Franklin Keith III and his cousin Keith Clark.
To get the wiring, they basically destroyed a lot of the interior, which means it's going to take a substantial amount of work.
$260,000 worth of copper and metal items stolen. Now, for the first time ever in the state of Tennessee, this crime carries a stiffer penalty. And the district attorney's office says Keith could be the very first person in the state to feel its effects.
The legislature amended the law. Now any theft over $250,000 is a Class A felony.
And that means you could face 15 to 25 years in prison and absolutely no probation. Before, you would have faced less time, 8 to 12 years for the same crime.
There's no reason for someone who steals $60,000 to receive one punishment and a person who steals $250,000 to receive the same punishment. I think a reasonable person would look at that situation and would say that there is a gross injustice.
The Bradley County Sheriff's Office says they're okay with that statute.
Of course, it costs more in the prison system to house these individuals for many years, but they're there to be helped.
So as the law stands right now, if you steal a lot of high-ticket items, you could wind up spending more time in jail than if you killed someone. In Bradley County, Alicia Searle, WDEF News 12.
Keith Clark is still on the run tonight. If you know where he is, please call the Bradley County Sheriff's Office. Cleveland police are looking for 45-year-old Danny Wayne Cronin and 30-year-old Marvin Bingham. Investigators believe they stole 16 heat and air conditioning units from city businesses. Those thefts were also likely for the copper. The missing woman from Ringgold has been found. 47-year-old Carolyn Clayton had been missing for 2 weeks. Now, she had mentioned visiting relatives in Loudoun but never arrived. Officers say they've now spoken with Clayton and she's doing well.
The Freedom from Religion Foundation is not letting Walker County schools off the hook anytime soon. The group now wants churches to stop feeding Ridgeland High School players for pregame meals. Now, they also questioned football coach Mark Mariakis' appearance at a religious event. The group feels Mariakis is defiant against the district for doing so. Well, once again, members request a response from the school leaders on that matter. The Finley Stadium Board looks for ways to boost its income. The Mocs' first home game drew a good turnout at Finley Stadium last week, and the board hopes for more this week. The Chattanooga FC Club also draws good crowds every year, but the stadium is 15 years old now and in need of some repairs. The county still pays towards its upkeep, but the city of Chattanooga is withholding some $60,000 in support.
Very challenging opportunity that we don't have a clear answer to is to have an entertainment venue in the stadium itself. And you could tell from the board meeting, some people think it has to be either big or not at all. My own advocacy is we need to crawl before we walk.
Now, Finley has entered in the black the previous 2 years. The board is actively seeking new entertainment events for Finley Stadium.
Now, your Storm Team 12 24-hour forecast.
Finally drying outside as, boy, it's freezing, a little cooler. Definitely feeling it right now. Here's a look at that forecast through the next 24 hours. Look at that low tomorrow morning. We'll need a sweaters off to work and school. Lower 50s, some upper 40s for the mountains tomorrow, though. A gorgeous day with lots of sunshine, breezy, highs near 75.
This week's Golden Apple winning teacher believes in setting high standards for her students, expecting their best efforts. We'll tell you her story next.
A new kind of mob showed up at a local business, but it was a good thing. Find out why next.